For many, this will be the highlight of the evening right now. There's so many of our older members here who've been following this great football club of ours for many, many decades, who saw some of the geniuses on the stage right now in the prison bar jumper, men who made this great football club what it is today, turned it into a completely different football club in an era that no other football team in Australia has been able to equal ever since. To tell you more about it, please welcome to the stage our coach, Ken Hinkley, and our captain, Travis Boak.
Thank you again. It's very humbling to stand here tonight as coach of the Port Adelaide Football Club, alongside our captain, Travis Boak, to have the honour to formally induct the Premiership team for the first time into our Hall of Fame. As we all know and is clear from tonight's event, Port Adelaide is a club steeped in tradition with a record of success like no other. As a club, we exist to win premierships. And the feats of our 6 in a row premiership heroes from the 1950s put an exclamation mark on this winning philosophy. They are the bedrock of the modern Port Adelaide Football Club. They have set us up for who we are today. Please take a look at the screens now of the story of this great team from the 1954 to 59 Premiership legends.
October the 3rd, 1959. And in doubtful weather, once again, it's a West versus Port Grand Final here in Adelaide.
Nobody in the history of the game at that level has been fortunate enough to play in 6 consecutive premierships.
And here he comes, umpire Laurie Sweeney, to start off the 1959 Grand Final. And he comes to bounce the ball. There it is, it's well in the air. Zucker's there. No one gets a knock. It's on the ground. Anyone can have it. Motley's caught in possession, but it's too high and he will receive a kick at the centre of the ground.
The 6 in a row, I don't think will ever be done again. It's too hard, it's too competitive. Look, we had the players, that's number one. We had the players, we had the coach, and we had the administrators, particularly in Bob McLean. You know, he was an unsung hero through a lot of those things. To look back and see what we'd achieved then, I don't think that'll ever happen again.
I think it became like the badge of honour for Port Adelaide. So we were a really good club. Don't worry about that. We were strong, we'd won premierships. But what the 6 in a row did was make us the best football club in the land, and never to have that title taken away from us, even to today. So just amazing record.
They were revered over and above other players, even if they'd won multiple premierships. To do that for 6 years and be the best and beat everyone, they deserve a really special place, and I'm really, really pleased that they've been acknowledged as a group for their achievements, and they certainly well and truly should be at the top of the list in Port Adelaide Footy Club Hall of Fame.
We played on the basis that we couldn't possibly let down the followers of the Port Adelaide Football Club. That was the worst thing that could happen to us. We were greatest gift that we can give our membership is a premiership, as would be with the players whose lockers were in the rooms when you went to training at the night time.
Here's Hayes' kick coming to the centre of the ground. It's Motley and Johnson. Motley far too strong overhead.
When I first came to the club as a 15-year-old, I could feel the legacy of that period of massive success, and the club was thirsty to continue to do that. So we all grew up in the shadow of that 6 in a row, and it drove us all to say, well, we want to win, and we want to be part of something like that.
And there goes the final siren, and it's Port Adelaide again, creating an Australian record, a South Australian and an Australian record. Listen to that crowd go mad.
How it impacted my era was one of those players, Tom Garland, was our chairman of selectors, and Tom would speak to us at the beginning of every season, and one of his speeches he used to talk about was the links in the chain. And because we were winning 88, 89, and we're going into 90, and he's just kept talking about you cannot, once you start the chain, you can't break a link. And that's what they held on to during that 50s period. And they would play games interstate and all the rest of it. And Foss would say, see how we go and all the rest of it. But then when the game came, oh, well, no, we can't lose. We have to win. This is Port Adelaide.
As a young kid growing up in the area, you had Barrack from Port Adelaide. You came to the game, and I started coming to the game when they'd won a premiership for like 10 or 11 years, which in Port Adelaide land is unheard of. All we remember was this team that had won 6 in a row, and that Port Adelaide expected to win every year. And finally, with 77, we won a flag, and then in 79, 80, 81, it started rolling out how it should be. Port Adelaide winning a flag pretty much every second year. But the team that set the standard, the team that everything's compared against, the team that everyone has to stand and look at and go, we aspire to that, was the team in the 50s.
On behalf of the entire club, playing group and broader Port Adelaide community, it is my pleasure to have the opportunity to officially acknowledge the outstanding achievements of the 1950s Premiership heroes tonight. You have created a legacy that our playing group admires greatly. You are all true inspiration to us, and one day we would love to be part of a night like this so the Port Adelaide community can just be as proud of us as we are of you tonight. Congratulations and welcome to the Port Adelaide Football Club Hall of Fame.
And Ken and Travis will present too. Please keep your applause going. Jeff Motley, Neville Chicken Hayes, Jeff Potter, John Cale, Ken Tierney, Brian Luke, Basil Jaggard, Ian Hannaford, John Dewhurst. Yes, please be upstanding for royalty of the Port Adelaide Football Club, please, ladies and gentlemen. Thanks, guys. Thanks, Ken. Thanks, Travis. And to the current group, the Port Adelaide players that are representing this club in 2018, it is fantastic to see the greatest of all time and the new era come together on what is an iconic night for this club, celebrating the past, the present and the future. Once again, please, a round of applause for royalty as these gentlemen depart the stage. Thanks, guys. If you need some help off, we've got some help for you organised. Big back. I think we're going to go back this way. All right.
Dwayne, just as our champions leave the stage, just a couple of little trivia things for you. Brian Luke, the man who's coming down right now, for people that have been to the football club over many, many years, you'll remember as a player that mark that was always frosted into the glass doors at the football club.
At the top of the stairs?
Yeah, that was Brian Luke, taking that absolute specky. It was one of the great marks of all time.
Yeah.
And as I say, it was a part of our club, wasn't it? Those frosted glass doors.
And we used to get our boots at Motley and Grrrrr, didn't we?
Motley and Grrrrr, Alan Grrrr, of course, Jeff Motley. And the other thing I wanted to mention, I don't know if it's been said yet as well, but we talk about the 6 in a row. Do you know our reserves won 5 flags in a row at the same time? That's how strong the club was. And people didn't leave. They didn't want to leave and get a league opportunity somewhere else. They stayed and played in 5 reserves premierships. Amazing.
It is phenomenal. It really is. And it just goes to prove you can't look back on the past without actually looking at the future, and to see these great guys here and the future of the footy club together, it's just an absolute joy to be here.